Yo, welcome to the No Limit Podcast, also known as the No Limit Modcast, your number one source for Grand Theft Auto 5 cheats on PC. Here with Mr. 5G, No Limit Eddie, and the Wi-Fi God, Any Ball. What up?
Dude, you threw me off, but saying your name first. Usually my name goes first. I threw the peace sign up on your name. It's all right. Shout out to my boy Ed Rem. Shout out to my boy D Kirk, too, repping the sweatshirt.
That's
my
a
guy.
fire sweatshirt.
Fire sweatshirt.
That is a fire sweatshirt.
Dude, he's got like a whole like line of stuff. You can get like vests, sweatpants, and you can get all like his logo and stuff on it.
D Kirk, send me one, my boy.
Let's go. Yeah, shout out
Free
D Kirk.
shipping, though. Hook me up. So, yeah, I just used my 30 seconds of positivity that I got for that little intro there. Now we're going to go on a little negative spew about late April, early May behaviors of these months. And don't even get me started on March. Don't even let me travel back a month and go to March, because that old phrase, March comes in like a lion, out like a lamb. March has not come out like a lamb in at least the last 7 years.
Frosty the whole month.
Every April for the last 5 years has been absolutely frozen tundra.
Yeah, like you get like a day or, you get a handful of days in April that are like nice. You're like, wow, I can't wait for summer. But majority of the month is still ass. Now, is April really supposed to be nice as hell?
I thought so.
I thought so,
I thought
too.
April was like peak spring. Every day, 65, 70. Nice calm breeze. You stand by a lake, maybe you get a little chill.
Maybe the middle of April. May is like probably peak spring because the summer kicks off in June, right?
Yeah. See, exactly. Your mind has already been desensitized to that March out like a lamb statement, because you said even the middle of April is only supposed to be where it's really nice. You're expecting cold now, guaranteed.
Yeah, I expect
on April 1st.
Yeah.
April Fools,
like
it's still cold.
Like when March rears its ugly head, because I actually hate the month of March. I expect it to be cold the whole time. Like, I don't expect to be like, oh man, summer's really coming. Yeah, spring's really coming. I'm just like, we're still cold.
March, I have learned to expect consistent cold.
Yeah. What's your least favorite month? Mine really might be like that February, March period.
Honestly, for me, it might be right with you, but more April. Because April, I really believe that it's supposed to be nice.
I can't wait for
now we're up trapped in the northeast region of the country, where I'm sure other people in like Connecticut, New York, Delaware, Jersey, all other popular cities up here are feeling the same way we are, and they might even be feeling a little sick themselves, and they're wondering, is it COVID coming back? Is it the flu, because we've been hiding from it for the past couple years, coming back stronger? No. It's the fact that it was 80 last week, and today it's 43.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's your body is not supposed to do that.
Dude, I'm telling you, off the chain, my allergies were about like a week and a half ago. My nose was burning, my eyes were burning, I kept sneezing, like I was blowing my nose every 10 seconds.
For real?
It was brutal, like literally. Like I was like, I don't even want to work. Like I don't want to do anything because it was so bad.
Like unbelievable, bro.
And I never had I didn't get allergies until a few years ago.
Eyes straight closed.
Yeah.
Like this. You're outside, eyes are like this.
Yeah.
And there's no way around it. I've come to just like, also as a weed smoker, bro, allergies get worse when you do that. Like just the effects. Maybe not the actual allergies, whatever's going on inside your system, but your eyes are definitely completely closed.
Or you're
you
just
smoke
high
a,
and
you
bugging
smoke a
out.
blunt, go outside, and pollen fills up your eyelids. Your eyes are literally like this.
Whoa, dude.
Good Lord.
Is there pollen in my eye?
I think that's one of the funniest faces you can make in human history, this one. Just the nose stretch
That's the
out,
ugliest
eyes
face you
closed.
can make right now.
Neither of us, they weren't that bad. We could go harder.
Maybe we're just not that ugly.
Yeah.
That's possible.
Maybe we're just not that funny at 8 o'clock.
It's hard to be funny at 8 a.m., I think.
It dead ass is.
It's definitely a cultural reset. Because I think this will be the earliest we ever recorded.
Yeah.
Because we've gotten together like early, but it didn't start till 9. Like, getting right into it at 8:15.
I got this coffee that's still so hot it's burning the roof of my
Yeah,
mouth.
dude, there's still steam coming. This is a fresh pot.
Coffee, boys.
Wake up, fresh pot of coffee. What's better than that?
For real.
You know what I mean?
And when you're talking a pot, like let's erase this Keurig shit.
Yo,
I have Keurig. I use it for convenience, but a pot of coffee hits like no other.
I had a Keurig one time at somebody's house. Like I woke up there and they're like making me one coffee, and I was like, yeah. And they made it out of a Keurig. And I was like, what is this? And they're like, oh, it's coffee. It's from a Keurig. And this is years ago when Keurigs were like just starting to be a thing.
Yeah.
horrible coffee. Absolutely horrible trash coffee.
It's real light. It's hard to find a Keurig that's going to make you a strong cup.
I don't believe it at all. A pot of coffee is easy. You know, you make it in 5 to 10 minutes. It's way better. It tastes more fresh. I would love to get down with like a French press.
And it was such a good, like, in the past, way back, early 2000s, the Stone Age, a pot of coffee was such a good social thing. Like,
Before
hey, I'll
the
put a pot
pyramids.
on. You know,
Dude,
everybody sits around, gets a cup out of the pot.
For all of eternity. You know, you invite people over for dinner. You know, your aunt comes over for dinner. You're all sitting around bullshitting. You want a pot of coffee? I'll make a pot of coffee. It still happens today in some, you know, traditional families. For Easter Sunday, my grandma, my aunt, my parents all got together, all ate dinner, watching the basketball game. You want to throw a pot of coffee? I'll throw a pot of coffie on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everybody starts chatting after a couple sips.
Yeah,
you know?
because everyone's, you know, then the blow comes out. And what the fuck were we just talking about?
How hard it is to be funny at 8 o'clock in the morning.
It is, dude. I don't know. There's something about just waking right up, opening your... I don't know.
I really think that coffee has a lot to do with it. Like on the way over here, before I took the sip of this coffee, because it's in this thermos thing that I know is keeping it piping hot. Like I gotta let that shit sit or like open the lid for a little while to let that heat out because it's undrinkable. So for about 30 minutes of my morning, I couldn't drink the coffee. And I'm driving over here just thinking, yeah, you do gotta hit one of those. That's true.
You gotta line your
give it a little more ASMR for the listeners. Hot coffee slurp. Save it as a soundbite.
That's me eating your puss. See how hard it is to be funny today, I am?
Yeah. Driving over here, dude, I'm thinking like, bro, I don't even want to fucking talk right now. Like my mouth, and this is thinking in my head, like I'm not talking. I just have my mouth completely closed. Like it's still kind of dry from the morning. My lips are almost sewed shut, and I'm just driving thinking like, I don't even want to open these lips right now, bro. I just want to like melt into the seat. Not even that I want to go back to sleep, but it's just not time to talk yet. But then once you finally hit that coffee, once you finish like your half of your first cup, you can talk. You can let the tongue fly.
Bro, I couldn't even imagine like sitting there like driving like I don't even want to open these lips. Fuck that podcast. But yeah, like if I didn't have this coffee right now, and I'm never like that kind of person. Like I need my coffee. Don't fucking talk to me until I have my coffee, bitch. You know, like, when people are like that, like, there's like. For some reason, I feel like this is all my juice right now. This whole call, I did eat an edible too. Second I woke up, just rolled out of bed, right into the nightstand. Because I knew I was doing the show.
That's pain, bro.
Why?
Edible as soon as you wake up?
I knew I was doing the show.
Not pain, but like you're gonna be cooked for the rest of the day.
I'll eat 3 more.
Hey, I hear you.
You just gotta keep going.
You know what I always feel? Something situation like that. Do you ever take a dab?
No.
First of all, dabs like you're doing too much. You need a whole fucking torch, a big ass rig, old as shit. You could burn yourself, give yourself fucking serious burns. Imagine being that high, like high off a dab, and you give yourself a 3rd-degree burn. How annoying is that? You're fried out of your mind, and now your finger's fried.
How does shit like that just not blow a hole through your lung? But like if I smoke a backwood, like my chest feels tight, but people are hitting whole rigs of shit, smoking out of plastic bottles, and like I don't understand how.
Well, the backwood is because of the tobacco and the chemicals and shit on it. But yeah, bro.
Is tobacco even bad for you?
First of all, if you're doing, that's a topic for a later day. But I think we got to do research on that if we want to really talk about is tobacco bad for you.
I'm somewhat of a researcher myself.
It probably is. Tobacco bad for you? Or is it more the smoke? Who knows? But if you're doing dabs, number one, you're doing too much.
Yes.
Like you can get pretty high off a blunt, bro. Like just roll up a fatter blunt than normal. You don't need to go to the fucking hyper infused, very super concentrated THC straight to your brain. But what you're saying about waking up and hitting that edible, I feel like, let's say I've done a dab in my life. I probably would again, but I'm not gonna be the guy who's like got my own rig and my own like all this shit to do dabs on a daily. The next day you wake up after a night of maybe doing a dab or 2 or 7, if you smoke anything, bro, I'm talking a bowl pack. You smoke anything when you wake up, you are immediately back into the state of just as fried as you were.
Really?
Because there's so much THC, I feel like, still running through your system.
That's interesting.
But if you're a person who does it often, I feel like you don't even notice it. But if you're somebody who just like smokes casual, like joints, blunts, then you do a dab, the next day that blunt or joint you smoke is going to get you to the moon high.
Dude, I don't even want to be that high. I don't like seek out being that high. I'm not a thrill seeker when it comes to pot. You know what I mean? Like I eat an edible because I know where that high is going to get to.
Yep.
I know where it's going to stop. You know what I mean? I'm not going to start hitting dab rigs and think that I'm about to have an aneurysm and my heart is about to explode. Because I'll get paranoid, dead ass, and just think I'm about to die. I can't do that.
First of all, shout out my man Lord Bingo, #1.
Shout out.
For being the first podcast other than the Mummer podcast to hit 1,000.
Did it finally hit 1,000?
Lord Bingo cast did finally hit 1,000. And on that podcast, we said, if you ain't trying to slow down on the weed, then what the fuck you doing? Everybody who smokes weed is in some way, shape, or form trying to slow down.
I'll tell you what. Me and my brother's, he's also big on pot, whatever. He's always trying to stop. Always trying to cut back. And so am I. Always trying to stop. Always trying to cut back.
Because if you just keep that mentality that you're always trying to cut back, #1, you'll spend way less money on weed.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you go with the mentality of, like, I'm balls to the wall, I'll smoke as much as I want, you'll burn through an ounce in a couple days.
I don't even buy weed anymore for that reason. Because if I buy physical weed,
you'll smoke it all.
I'll just smoke it all that day. So I buy edibles. Because the highs last longer. You get, like, right now I get 10 edibles in a pack for $40.
Yeah.
All right. Now, like, you could make that, if you really were disciplined enough, you can make that last 10 days. 10 days of getting high for $40.
Yeah.
I don't have that discipline. I still eat 2-3 times a day on some days,
Now, how does that work, though? Because the edibles, for me, hit so hard, and then, like, your high wears off and you eat another one?
Yeah.
I feel like, for me, if I eat an edible, no matter what time of day, I'm not going to be able to eat another one, like, in that same.
Well, I'm sure my
24-hour
tolerance
span.
to them is also building up because I'm not smoking as much anymore, and I'm mainly on just eating edibles.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't always like to smoke. I like to like eat an edible while I'm laying in bed, and then it kicks in while I'm watching a movie or I'm playing something or whatever. You know what I mean?
It definitely helps you be funny at 8 a.m. Eating.
Oh yeah, like for sure. Like right now, because what time is it? Was it say it on there?
8:50.
8:50, right? So I probably rolled out of bed 7:50.
Yeah.
Popped it in, cleaned up back here because this room lays dormant.
Yeah.
Week to week. Like the only time I'm ever in here is when we're doing the podcast. So, I cleaned up in here. Trash can actually had covered in mold. Had to throw it out.
This seat was actually so perfectly in place. Like, I know that you didn't move anything a morsel.
Literally
because
not even
this
remotely.
Seat, like, the microphone was right here with the weight already holding it down. Instant beef board looking just as trash as always. And all I had to do was give this mic stand a little spin. Boom, it's right here.
Yeah, I don't think I moved literally a single item.
Yeah.
Except the Christmas tree ashtray. That's about it.
What I would say as a final note on the 8 a.m. thing is, like, what is the vibe? What is the vibe of the No Limit podcast? Is it really an 8 a.m. vibe? No. But we're recording it at 8 a.m. I don't expect you to be listening to it at 8 o'clock in the morning.
But if you're making your commute to work or something, or you're at
it's
work.
Definitely a commute to work. It's definitely a commute to work vibe.
I wonder how many of our listeners are listening
but
at
it's
work.
not like NPR radio.
No,
or like
no.
gospel radio where it's real smooth, real monotonous, like where you can just sit there and every once in a while, let's say you turn this on, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, you're on your commute to work. Out of nowhere, I might just be like, and you got to deal with that because you signed up for the No Limit podcast.
And you might be like, I hate this. No, I think that's why sports talk radio does so well. Because in the morning and you're in your car, especially like in the cold, like we're on the East Coast, it's cold in December and you're in your car, it's kind of miserable
You just
out.
want to hear that warm vocal.
Nah, you just want to hear somebody just bitching about Ben Simmons. You know what I mean? He's like, fuck him. Because then you get that anger out, then you go to work, you're getting on the cooler, then you start talking about Ben Simmons, and then you have a little camaraderie for the day. So I think that's why like shit like that works so well.
Get around the coffee pot.
Get around the coffee pot. That'd be me. I think that like a podcast like this one, it's probably a little rarer to listen to at 8 a.m., but I'm sure people do it on their commute to work or at work. You know what I mean? Like I said, I wonder how many of our listeners listen while they're at work. And if you are right now, I hope your shift's going well.
Secondary vibe of all podcasts, I think, that people are missing out on is for my gym rats out there. Those days that you have at the gym where like you're not going super hard, you don't need the heavy metal blast, and you're just kind of hitting some auxiliary shit, secondary work. A podcast, especially like the No Limit podcast, that's just comic relief, hits hard. It's fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, I could definitely imagine.
Gives you a nice solid hour to go through.
I'm not a gym rat.
Yeah.
I think our podcast duration is the perfect. Because I just have beef with podcasts being like 4 hours. 'Cause even if I want to listen, I'm like, dude, like 4 hours to sit here and like. Then if you break it up in that parts, you forget what they were talking about on the part one that you broke. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why people have to make 5-hour podcasts.
Now you said a word there that sparked my interest in a topic that we have written down over here. Duration.
Duration
of the nation. Across all of spatian. Inflation.
Crustacean.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Exactly. We're going to talk about the statute of limitations.
No limit?
Yes.
All right. Statute of limitations.
Instant beef with the statute of limitations because the last word in it, clearly. It's clear why we have.
Right. So we are suing that word. So Webster's Dictionary is getting a lawsuit from us for just the statute of limitations.
Yes, our lawyers will be Mr. Klein, Mr. Spector. We'll see you in court.
Phil Spector?
Statute of limitations, if I'm right, it's how long a crime you can be
tried for.
You can be tried for a certain crime. And if I'm correct, different crimes have different lengths. Or they're all the same.
Do you know any of them? Like off the top of your head, like do you know what the statute of limitations is for first-degree murder? I think you're right, by the way.
I think for murder that it's infinite. I think if you're found to murder someone in 1970, but it's found out in 2022, you're still going to go to jail.
Yeah, I think that's for sure.
I think that's definitely for sure. But I think maybe for like, all right, let's say like something small time, like racketeering, like probably 10 years, I would guess. Like if nobody finds out you did that in 10 years.
Let the audience in on why you want to talk about statute of limitations in the first place.
Okay, so why I want to talk about that in the first place is, well, you have one that isn't necessarily directed toward one single person. I want to talk about very, very recent. I think that as of this morning is the most recent news on this case. Young Thug, also known as Slime. Yeah, also known as Slime to his crew, who was... Well, no. Well, YSL, he says YSL for life, which is Young Stoner Life. But
that's corny.
But he also, but whatever his real gang is down in Atlanta, whatever their name is, they're being indicted right now on a RICO case. What's a RICO again? I'm pretty sure I know, but maybe you know for sure. RICO's like...
I know it is the Drake and Meek Mill song.
Yeah, it's like... Racketeering, I think, is included, but it's basically just like gang stuff.
You might just get hit with the RICO. Is that the same thing? Is that what they're saying?
RICO is basically just like a charge being brought against your entire gang for like multiple things that you have done just as a criminal organization.
Dude, why even guess anymore when you have Google? You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, what is a RICO case?
Well, we are supposed to provide the uninformed opinion. So sometimes I like to try to get to the root.
How many dumb kids today are Googling what's a RICO case because Young Thug just got arrested for it? The Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act is a United States federal law that provides for extended criminal penalties and a civil cause of action for acts performed as part of an ongoing criminal organization. So passed in 1970, the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act is a federal law designed to combat organized crime in the United States. It allows prosecution and civil penalties for racketeering activities performed as part of an ongoing criminal enterprise. So the way I read that is, if you are a crime syndicate, right, and you're under investigation ongoing, right?
Yeah.
The RICO, it sounds like, is an act that they can try you for probably all the things that they've been watching you for. And when they finally book you, they get you for that and everything that they've been watching you for. Ongoing cases, ongoing criminal activity, you just get everything. I don't know. I could be totally wrong and just sound retarded. That's just totally possible.
Yeah, very possible. What Young Thug did specifically as himself, one thing they have him doing in this RICO case is he rented a 2015 Infinity truck 5 years ago, I think it said, that was used to drive to go murder someone. So he rented a car in his name, and they do use his legal name in the paperwork and shit.
This is part of Young Thug's crew?
No, Young Thug legitimately rented the car in his own name. So I'm talking about him specifically. The one thing that his name is on for only him doing is renting this car. And then this car was used by someone else to go drive and kill a rival gang member.
Now, are they saying that because it's the same make and model, or it was the same license plate and like it was definitively that car that he took off the lot?
I think it's definitively that's the one that the guy used.
Why would he run a car?
Now he didn't go run the guy over with the car. He just arrived on the scene in that vehicle. Not Young Thug, the killer that was hired, probably hired. Most likely.
Now, I just real quick. I mean, I'm just thinking there's like a smarter criminal than Young Thug here. Why wouldn't you just go on like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace and buy like a $1,900 just shit box?
Yeah, now that's the case. But if you weren't renting the car, I don't think he was renting the car saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna rent this car, and you're gonna drive it and kill this guy." I think he just happened to rent the car maybe for his boy, who was a member of his gang, and then he used that rental.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, that
and
does.
I would like to apologize to Young Thug
for being a smart criminal,
and a smart ass myself.
Yeah but he is getting caught right now.
Okay,
but also, we're a little bit of conspiracy theorists here at the No Limit Podcast.
Sure,
it's like if he doesn't really go to jail, if he doesn't get serious jail time. Am I supposed to actually believe that this wasn't some type of publicity stunt just to get Young Thug's name back in the realm of fame?
No, dude, you really? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that being like a criminal is definitely glorified in some aspects.
Yeah.
When you are famous like that, especially when it comes to drugs and like crime activity, it's cool. It's tough to be like getting arrested for it. So maybe, but I think like if Young Thug wanted publicity, he would just put out some music. Like just call Drake up and be like, "Yo, you want to drop a track?" And they would just make a song, and then Young Thug's popping for a day or two.
That could be coming. It definitely could be coming.
RICO Part 2.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Imagine they just dropped a song called RICO. That would be pretty fire.
Yeah.
Now back to the statute of limitations on this. Like, how long ago did he commit these?
So it was 2015,
whatever, right? Like, let's throw out what I just said out the window. Let's throw any idea of like it being a publicity stunt, it being not as serious as they're portraying it out to be. Let's throw all that out the window for a second and think about all this shit's real. Even take away Young Thug being a rapper, just all this shit's real. They're a gang. They committed these crimes. The car with the guy being murdered, all that. Let's say it's all real. Like, it's long ago at this point. I believe the guy who murdered the rival gang member, yes, he's a murderer. Like, he's got to be taken off the streets. But Young Thug, as a dude who rented a fucking car,
he's an accomplice
that this guy borrowed,
a connection.
You should not be able to charge him for that.
But that's the thing is like we don't know how far Young Thug goes into the case.
Exactly. How many years now that's one thing we don't know. We don't know how many years he did this after the fact. Let's say, I'm pretty sure it was like in the realm of 2015 to 17 that he rented this car and the dude went and did the murder, right? If he did anything, like you just said, all the stuff that they're investigating gets tied together. So if he did anything gang related in 2021, then they're saying they can still tie him back to that 2015 thing no matter what, because it's all within the same
ongoing
case.
Activity. Now, if it's like Lito said, if it's a murder, it's probably infinite on statute of limitations, right? If it's a murder. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. If you robbed a bank in 1997 and they just like for some reason discovered it and like you can't, there's nothing they can do about that.
Yeah,
you got the money, the money's been spent. It's all done. Nobody got hurt. Like but like what's the statute of limitations for that? Honestly, if you rob a store, right? You rob a store clean, you're just gonna get away with it. At this point, like if you walked into 7-Eleven, maybe if you hold it up by gunpoint, fine. All right, that's a little different because you're putting somebody's life in terror. So I can see somebody getting arrested for that. But if you literally just go into Home Depot and just take a bunch of shit and leave, like, you're good.
Well, dude, nowadays I'm not really sure how it is over here. We started off the episode saying we're in the Northeast region. The laws over here are a little different than what they are on the West Coast right now, because a big problem out in California is that however they redesign these laws, you are basically allowed to rob anything you want from any store. Like, you can walk in a store. There's so many videos of people just walking in clothes stores and taking the entire rack of jeans and walking out the door.
No, it's like that here.
Because they advise you as the employee, you know, like, don't risk your life over these jeans. Like, don't chase this guy out the store. All you can do is call the police. If they get away before the police even catch them, they're gone, and the police can't further pursue them. And I think if the police show up and somehow catch them at the time, that all they have to do is return the merchandise. There's no jail time anymore. There's no anything like that for small time theft.
For retail theft, there's no jail time. If it's definitely true here, by the way.
So someone could walk in.
You could just walk into a store, take an entire arm of merchandise for $6,000. Say it's 25 North Face jackets
like
for
Nike
$400.
Tech track jackets.
Yeah, take a whole rack of Nike Tech, tops and bottoms, $100 a piece, right? Take a whole rack of it. Walk out with $1,500 worth of Nike stuff, scot free.
You're not going to chase them and stop them.
You're not allowed. Now,
but would you want to?
I talked to a guy I work with, and he worked for a company years ago where they actually allowed you to apprehend people with fisticuffs, tackle people. Like, he said he was in over 2,000 fistfights.
I'm sure there's still mom and pop shops that.
Mom and pop ones, for sure. But, like, could you imagine working for a corporation, right? Like Lowe's. Imagine working for Lowe's, and people at Lowe's are like, fuck him up.
Yeah.
Get him. Like, I think that's fire.
Now, maybe that's a topic we could dive into right now. Jobs that just ain't fucking worth it.
Oh, all retail and fast food industry.
Yesterday I'm watching.
And restaurant jobs.
You brought up bank robberies. Yesterday I'm watching a little documentary about these guys who were doing heists, and they were doing them in Vegas when people would go to stores or go to casinos and they would pick up the cash drops. So one was like a guy driving an armored van. He goes in a store, he picks up their cash drop for the day. He walks back out through two minivans that are parked. Dudes hop out of the minivans with guns drawn. Give me the money, give me the money. He throws down the money, pulls out his gun, lets off a shot, maybe hits one guy. He ends up getting murdered, right? Like, how much you think that guy was making an hour? Legit, how much was he making per hour?
Dude, 15?
Like, you're putting your life on the line for that, bro. And especially in that situation, you're carrying hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in your hand. You're responsible solely for protecting that money with your life, and you don't get any of it. And at the end of the week, you clear a check for a couple $100.
Yeah.
Bro, there's something you could find better to do. I know you could find something better to do than that. I know you could.
But like, if I'm working at TD Bank and someone pulls a sawed-off shotgun out of a bag and sticks it in my face and says, "Let me in the safe," all right, I'll take you right to it. Like, what am I gonna be like? No.
And that's why I would never, and that's why I would always say I would never become a police officer. Not because of anything like, oh, fuck the police, like it's corrupt. Not because of any of that. Because if someone pulled out a gun and was going to kill me over something that I didn't care one fucking morsel about, other than the fact that I got this uniform on, my mind would not let me stay there. I would immediately right there say, fuck this, it ain't worth it. I don't care. I'm out of here. My life to me, and this might be a selfish thing, maybe people think, but in a life or death situation, I'm putting my life first. I'm the most important. I'm getting the fuck out of there. I don't care. It's not that I don't care what happens to you. Like, if you die or something, I'm gonna feel bad, but I'm making sure that I get out of the situation. For sure. And I'll never put on a uniform or hold a job title where my job is to stay and put my life in danger for something that's not worth it at all. Now, if you're really trained, highly trained guy, and you're working for like a private security team where you know that you and 10 guys with a certain set of skills are working together to protect a large asset or a very famous person, and you're being paid handsomely, now that's a different story. Now that's something I might be able to get behind. But being a fucking cop working for $20 an hour and having to run into the subway when there's an active shooter, no. I'm not doing it. I'm going to quit right there. I'll put my badge down. And that's why I would never sign up, because of that embarrassment.
2 summers ago?
You don't want me on the force.
2 summers ago, there was that shootout up at Temple's campus. Remember that? The guy was just like in the window just shooting out at like 20 cops?
Yeah.
So imagine you're a cop.
Barricaded. He was barricaded.
Yeah, you're like, all right, we need all hands on deck to broaden whatever, right? Wherever it was. And you show up and you're just getting picked off. I mean, the guy wasn't like hitting like every cop, you know what I mean? But like you got some guy in a building with a machine gun just shooting at you now all of a sudden because you were radioed to go drive here.
You pulled up.
Yeah.
You were 5 blocks away. Nothing was going on. Yeah, pull up over here. We got fucking 20 cars, but we need you.
And now you're getting shot at. Like, what the fuck? I think actually when I was at Modell's.
Listen, buddy, get over here. Everybody gets an equal chance at being shot at. Get over here.
Yeah, if I'm getting shot at, you're getting shot at, asshole, and you better show up. You know what's funny? Like, you go back to the police station and the one guy who didn't show up, he's like eating a donut in the break room. And you get back and you're like, where were you at?
Oh, yeah, motherfucker?
He's like, oh, yeah, I was arresting some teenagers for smoking. Fucking shoot them.
Caught a couple of kids on their bikes on their fucking...
But I'm pretty sure when I was at Modell's, a manager got, held up at gunpoint, asked to open this, and like literally got shot and killed. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
open the safe? Modell's got a safe?
Yeah, you can do cash transactions.
Bro, you should be taking that to the bank every day.
Plus, this was also years ago. Nah, they like stores like that, like they have pickups, like Brinks trucks come by or whatever.
Yeah, that's what we just talked about.
They do it like once a week, twice a week, depending on the volume of the store. But this was also years and years ago. It was probably like 10, 15 years ago, I think. So even when that didn't even really happen, maybe I'm making it up. I don't even remember. But I'm sure people were probably using more cash then too. So it was like more lucrative to get the safe.
Yeah.
Like when I was working there, more people were using like debit cards and stuff, so it wasn't that much.
But
cash.
yeah, man, I would encourage everybody to like really take a look.
Just chill out, man.
Not like take a look in the mirror to yourself, but use that mentality to your job. Is it really worth it? Like, is it really worth it?
Even not even about putting your life in danger.
You get one life. Is it really worth it?
Not even about putting your life in danger. Like, imagine like your boss just sucks. Like, they bully you at work. They make you do all the bullshit work while they do nothing. Like, oh, fuck you. You know what I mean? Why are you making my life shitty? I'm going to go out and make my life better. That's why I kind of... I was just talking to somebody at work about this. You're totally in control of making your life the best it can be. I'm not saying that you can go out there and make your life amazing by amazing standards, but you are definitely in enough control, at least in this part of the world, to make your life the best you possibly can be. If there's something you don't like, you can change it. Like, say you're overweight, you can change it.
Right.
You don't like the way you dress, you can change it. You know what I mean? If you hate your car, you can change it. You can start chipping away, saving money, do whatever it takes. You literally can. It's about doing it.
Here's a phrase I would go with this to sum all that up and leave you with this on this topic, and one that I find myself always coming back to. There's a lot of phrases like this in life that are just so simple, but the more you think about them, the more you meditate on them, the more you go in depth on them, you can really apply them to so much. And it's just a simple phrase. It can be you. It can be you.
Yeah.
When I saw this documentary yesterday and I saw this guy who picked up the money, he walked between these two vans, he died. Then one of the most fucked up things is that the cops who showed up and like put him in the body bag, they didn't take his cell phone off of him, and they were there till 5 p.m. and his phone starts ringing. And everybody at the scene knows that phone's ringing because that's his family calling him like, it's 5 o'clock, where you at? They don't even know that this dude's dead. And he didn't wake up that day thinking like, oh, I'm going to go get shot today. He was like, another day at the office, another day at work, going to go pick up this money. I would encourage everybody to just think in every situation that you enter yourself into, it can be you. And you can apply that to positive situations too. And I feel like if you keep that in your mind, that phrase, it can be me. Anything I've ever seen that's been an atrocity could have been me. Anything I've ever seen that's been a miracle worked could have been me.
Yep.
And if you use that to your advantage, it makes it so that you know that all positive things to the max can happen to you, and you can manifest those. And also, it will help you avoid all negative things to the max because you understand, you have a belief it could happen to me.
Do you believe in manifestation?
I do. I do to a certain extent, but I believe that it's a lot harder to do than people think.
I agree, but I think it's also like we do this podcast, right? We don't do this podcast. I mean, we do it to do it too, but we don't just do it to do it, right? We do it because we want this podcast to grow and get larger, and we both believe that it will.
Right.
So we're kind of also both manifesting that in the world.
Yeah.
But it's not like. Right, it's not as simple as you saying like, nah, this podcast is going to make it so much bigger, and then it just gets bigger, right?
Exactly.
You still got to do the work, and you still have to just wholeheartedly believe in what you're doing. If you don't believe in what you're doing, whatever you're doing isn't going to be good by default. Like, if you really want to get down to it. But yeah, it can be you. We talked about that actually a little bit ago with the subway shooting, remember?
Yep.
So it could just be you.
It really can be.
You can be sitting on the subway with your fucking Beats by Dre in, and a smoke grenade goes off in your face.
You can be in a barrel at the bottom of Lake Mead, and then one day
Dude,
you pop up.
Can we talk about that? So, if you don't know, global warming is a thing. So, like, water levels in Lake Mead.
Listen, Bill, we got to get on this global warming thing.
Just a ball, bro. So, Lake Mead is located in, I think it's in Arizona and Nevada. It crosses both states, so it's desert land.
It's basically international waters.
Pretty much. Due to drought, the water levels have been going down, like, drastically.
But now you told me this. I would assume there's always drought in Arizona and Vegas. Like, how has Lake Mead survived this long?
Because just if a big body of water is a big body of water, dude. It takes a while for that to just go away. So the more the sun grows stronger,
and
because of our atmosphere getting fucked up by our pollution, so the sun rays become stronger and more dangerous. It's burning up the water faster. You know what I mean? This is all what's going on. So, Lake Mead, by Nevada, Arizona, desert land. What's by Nevada? Vegas, right? So we won't be talking about like mob killings and like kind of casino related killings, because like they found a body in a barrel, right?
Yeah.
So that seems like obviously a planned dumping of a body. Who would do that? Maybe some mafia guys. Who knows? I'm not a doctor, or
maybe
not a
just
doctor.
some fucking freak.
I'm not a cop. Maybe it was a freak on a leash. And so somebody was like at Lake, somebody was at Lake Mead, and they were like, "What the fuck is that barrel?" And since the barrel was in there for so long, it was kind of like eroded.
Right.
You can see inside it, and he's like, "That's a skeleton. What the fuck?" So calls the authorities. They discover the barrel. They get it. Inside was a body. They said it was from the late 70s, early 80s, and they only know that because of the shoes that were in the. You know what I mean? Like they ain't that like weird as hell interesting. So this body has been in this lake for 40 years at least, and now they're starting to rise up because the water levels are getting low. Now, this happened a week ago. Now more bodies are showing up, and now it's probably even going to be easier to go. Now that they know all these bodies are in there for sure, they're probably going to go in there and see how many are actually there, because I'm sure they can probably see that now, like, way clearer.
Yeah. And also, when you're saying, like, casino killings, mob killings, these guys that would be killed in those situations that you're talking about are really, like, nobodies. Like, the reason why they would go unfounded is because these dudes, if you can imagine, if what you're talking about is probably somebody who's in hundreds of thousands of debt that they'll never be able to pay back, and it's not to like any government organization where that government organization can be bailed out for that money that they're owed. It's probably an actual guy who needs that cash back in his pocket, and then they have to fucking do away with somebody who did them wrong to make an example.
Yeah.
But that guy who did them wrong is such a fucking shithead, has probably like done his family wrong so many times, done every friend he's ever had wrong. Nobody cares about them. So then when they get dumped in a lake, there's nobody looking for them. Like they know that guy was over fucking Bally's every day gambling away money he don't have. So I'm sure that's what he's doing now. Then all of a sudden he washes up 50 years later and it's like, oh, I guess he stopped going to the casino.
But like,
I don't know. Like,
there's literally nothing you can do. Like, this body just washed up and it's from 1978. guy's just long dead.
There's no.
Yeah, it's just
now there
the dudes
is,
who killed him are probably
there
dead.
There is very much like way better technology now, way better stuff to figure out who killed somebody. But where do you even begin when a dude's found in a barrel at the bottom of a lake from 1970 with no backstory on how he was killed? Nothing.
That's 1970. Think about like 1780. You can just walk into someone's house and just shoot them with your one bullet and blow their head off because they're like hand cannons. Like, just blow their head off and no one knows. You just walk out of their house and it's like, who killed John? Did anybody see anybody walk out of his house? I haven't seen anybody go in and out of there for days. Like, you would just like, there's no trace of literally anything.
Yeah.
Like, literally nothing. You can't trace anything.
How many bodies do you know have been found in Lake Mead so far?
I don't know the number, but now, like, I saw the update today. That's why I wanted to talk about it again. I saw the update today that it said multiple. So I'm assuming that's in the 4 range.
Many men
wish death upon me
were found in Lake Mead.
Barrel in the body, dog, I can't see.
Shoes from 1970.
Mafia try to take my life away.
Many men. Many men. Found in Lake Mead. Lord, I don't cry no more.
Fuck.
Damn, that's a fucking No Limit hit. Many men found dead in Lake Mead.
Is that a body in a barrel, dog? I can't see.
Is that a body in that barrel, dog? I can't see.
What's all these bodies washing up around me? Damn, I'm really afraid of Lake Mead.
Is Lake Mead officially cursed?
Dude, we have to come up. I'm telling you, we have to make like a 4-song like EP. Like Lake Mead is one. Lake Mead is a song. Eat the grass.
Many men found dead in Lake Mead.
Yeah, many men found dead in Lake Mead. Eat the grass.
Yeah, that's a banger.
Gotta get a gay rap on there.
Yeah, bro. A little 4-song No Limit EP like that would be fucking classic.
Tough.
Sell it as an NFT.
Yeah. Give it to Hempsey. But yeah, I just think that's super interesting that like global warming's obviously been an issue in the news for I feel like our whole lives now. And this is like a repercussion of it that it doesn't seem obvious. Like it's like interesting. Like, oh, now bodies are going to be starting to wash up.
I mean, I'm sure the same thing would happen at the Delaware River if that happened. I'm sure you'd find some number of bodies. Like, we're just thinking that it's got to do with casino mob life because it's Vegas.
Yeah, I'm just in the area. It's the desert. It's a perfect place to get rid of somebody.
It could just be anybody murdered. Like, you think, like, there's plenty of disputes and shit that people get murdered and
serial killers.
For all the cases that you know of where people were found murdered and the people were found guilty, there's probably a few that people just got away with.
Yeah, fucking Ted Bundy could have dropped them in there. I'm just saying, like, I'm just trying to spice it up for the No Limit podcast. Yeah. They say it's the mob.
Like the Delaware River, I'm sure there's bodies in there.
Oh
there's
God.
At least a few.
There's at least probably a few thousand.
Yeah, but doesn't that lead to like a bigger body of water where they might have like washed away? But if they had the cement shoes on, it don't even matter because they're just gonna be stuck there.
I mean, I think the trick of the trade to dumping a body in a body of water like that is you have to tie it down so it just automatically sinks to the bottom to never be seen again.
Because it will float.
Because it will just go and wash up somewhere.
Dude, another thing on that topic that's fucking very No Limit is that I think casinos deal with suicides a lot. And the fact that, like, I know about it. I've heard about it a little bit. But the fact that it's not really known to the public, like to the general public, is due to them like covering it up.
I think
because they don't want gamblers to think, well, suicide is a possibility if it really gets too bad.
Yeah, I think that's why they push. Like, you don't see anything bad about casinos really in like the public eye. It's all very under wraps. They keep a good image, and then they have commercials like 1-800-GAMBLER if you got a problem. You know what I mean? Like, that's the farthest they'll go is like, hey, get help. If you really have a problem, we want you to get help.
It's on every ATM in the casino.
Yeah,
it's like
we want you to get help.
Reminded.
And I think that it's actually a very real possibility. It's something very obvious that I don't think about because of the way casinos downplay the negative aspects about gambling. They want you to come in and gamble.
Yeah.
So they don't want you to think about, this can go really bad and you're going to kill yourself when you're $100,000 in debt and your family hates you.
But the truth is that they would love, the casino would love to get $100 from 1,000 people more than they would love to get $1,000 from 100 people.
But they still love those people.
Yeah, they do. But they would rather just have the tourists passing through and lose 100. Sure. They really aren't looking for the 100 people that they're gonna get $1,000 from, but it does happen. And then those people are the ones who end up jumping off the parking garage and shit. And if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure that it's kind of fucked up, kind of no limit, that casinos design their stuff in the same way that everything else has a method behind the madness, like the carpet being designed to confuse you so you get the design of just the architecture being designed so you get lost in there like it's a maze. Same thing with the garage. I feel like normally the easiest point to jump off is like leading to somewhere where no one's going to see you when you hit the ground with most casinos. Because they deal with that shit.
That's an eerie ass like an architecture has to design that.
And it's kind of like a way on the scale thing, because it's like, are you doing it because you actually want to save people from having to see something like that? Or are you doing it so you can just sweep them up and move on to the next fucking guy who's going to have the same problem? I think that they're doing it
for their sake. It's probably both, but they would much rather just have to be able to go out back and clean the guy up. You know what I mean? Because if you see people fucking jumping off a live casino, and you're just walking down the street, you're like, oh, wow.
Dude, I just heard a rumor recently about a sick fucking thing. Now, you can't tell what's true. You don't know what the facts of anything is or not. But what I'll say is this. I won't say any details because I heard from like a second account of somebody, and you know how shit fucking goes. You know the game whispered down the lane. It always changes. All I know is that supposedly someone at a Philadelphia, I won't even say which casino, because it's not like they fucking drove this guy to do this. He just chose their casino for his last straw. Mm-hmm. He emptied his bank account, went to the casino with the thought of like, I'm either going to turn this into a ton of fucking money or I'm going to go down to zero. The latter happens. He goes down to zero, walks out the front door, and blows his brains out. And now there's metal detectors at that casino, so if anybody really wants to do their research on which one it is, there's now metal detectors at that casino in Pennsylvania because of this, because they have the dude on surveillance like that he has the gun the whole time he's in there. So let's say he went and played blackjack. He's sitting at that blackjack table with a gun. So if his mindset would have changed from, I'm going to go outside and kill myself, to, you know what, fuck this, I'm about to hold this place up and get my money back that I just lost, then it could have been a much worse situation for other people who are there just kind of have a good time and not ruin their life.
That is so screwed up. I hate the idea of public suicides and like putting like the people around you, like putting that image, like forcing that into their head. Right. I hate that, man. Like I really struggle with that. Like blowing your head off in front of people that didn't, they don't know you. They
didn't ask for it.
Like, well, that's just so crazy, because it can really even if it is a stranger, it can still really screw them up. Just seeing that.
In a weird way, it's like a final cry for help, but it's over. Like, it's like basically going out there and publicly displaying, like, this is how down bad I've been. Mm-hmm. Someone please help me. But as soon as you do it, no one can help you ever again.
Yeah, I don't know. Suicide's trippy as hell. Like, I don't even know how it's humanly possible to be able to like shoot yourself. Like,
no, you have to reach a certain point with like a breaking point in your mind, because you know how they tell you your body actually won't let you harm itself. Like if you take a knife and you like,
I heard that that's
stomach,
a knife. If you just take a trigger's a gun, a push of a button.
That is different. Yeah, I do think about that too, because that is different. Like when you pull the trigger, you're not really registering what it's gonna do to you until it's too late.
Like if I'm on the ledge of a building.
To stab yourself?
All it takes is me to be like, fuck it, and just jump, right?
Yeah.
And they say people who survive it, the second they jump off the ledge, they're like, why'd I do it? Fuck. I just fucked up. So think about all the people who die who live with that last thought. Now, taking a knife and like literally forcing it into your chest is...
You can't. Once you get here, you can't do it because your body starts to feel the pain.
Well, could you just be like... Ugh!
I saw a video of a fucking firefighter. Dude, they were in like a high-rise building. and he leaned out the window, and like a bunch of the other firefighters like held him by his legs, and they held him down, and someone jumped and he caught him and like pulled him in the window. Imagine those people who get that lucky, like, because everybody has that regret when they jump, and then all of a sudden you don't die.
Just starts blowing
you
the
feel
firefighters.
that regret. You feel that regret as you're going down, but all of a sudden you don't die. You're just pulled into a room and you're like, holy shit.
You gotta blow them.
You gotta blow.
Gotta blow them.
Gotta blow.
Just be like, firefighter, please.
Get your pants off.
All yous. Right now.
Everybody, pants
Dinner
down.
on me after this, too.
Just getting bukkake by
You guys like
firefighters.
wine? I got plenty of it. Yeah, dude, that is insanity.
Yeah.
To be able to get that lucky. That's so outlandish. I kind of don't even believe it.
Video, it's out there.
All right.
You could probably just like Google like firefighter catches suicide jumper or something.
No, speaking of people jumping out of buildings to their death, crazy tangent. But you really watch like 9/11 footage and the people who are like at the top, they're like tying t-shirts together to like try to like rappel,
trying to go
and they're
down.
like still like 90 stories high. It's like fuck. Like what do you do? Like you just notice your whole floor's burning around you. The only thing you can do is just jump.
The answer to the question, what do you do, is you keep tying them fucking shirts because it's your only chance.
Dude.
Even though it's a slim chance, you keep tying them fucking shirts. I'm getting my underwear off before I stop tying shit together.
Could you imagine like you're not a suicidal person?
I'm gonna get my socks.
You love your family. You love going home after work. You know, you're going to the Phillies game this weekend. But now you're at the top of the World Trade Center. You're like, oh my God, I got to jump off and fucking die. Holy hell. Like, wow. This just happened.
Now, I wonder, I think because you said that, and up until this very point in my life, I probably wouldn't have thought like this. But,
dude, I would punch through the floor.
Would it be a smart idea that if you worked in, like, let's say the 100th floor of a real tall building like that, to bring a parachute to work? Every day.
Might be paranoid enough nowadays to.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, that's kind of reasonable.
Yeah.
And a parachute, you wear it like a backpack. Like, you don't have to tell anybody like you have a parachute because that could create kind of like, you know, weird vibes. But that's a good idea.
I feel like a thing that never really gets thought. I don't know if it ever gets thought about, but like something I never really think about is like imagine like you're at work that day, and you look out the window and there's just a fucking Boeing like 10 feet away.
Yeah,
like what the fuck? Like,
that thing's pretty close.
No,
and bang.
Like, well, I'm sure they probably that's the thing is they probably saw it coming from far out. Who do you think the first person was? They'll be like, guys, is that plane coming towards the building? And then everyone's be like, because you know there was probably like 10 seconds before we're just like, no, yeah, it is. Everybody start like, there had to be. It's fucked up.
Now, yeah,
I don't know how we got on 9/11 this morning, but.
I don't know either. It's at 8 a.m.
It's that No Limit podcast talk.
It just fucking keeps running down the train, and then like there's a bunch of tracks that go opposite ways, and
this is
just
a lot of death in this episode.
Yeah, very much toward the end though. The beginning was like it was like a little burst of like small negativity, a couple complaints. One thing I wanted to say before we get out of here is like last week we missed a podcast, right? Now, that was only because we want to do something special for episode 75. We got a couple different guests that we're trying to figure out who we want to have on 75, who's going to be available for us to have on 75, because that's a big milestone. So this episode is actually going to be a no limit, for what would we call it? Like, because we've done them before. It's like one of our things. Not a motif. A motif is something else, but it's like an
interstitial episode. It's like a bridge episode.
Yeah, but it's our thing, meaning like it's our thing. Like it's kind of branded to us. You know what I mean? Like a no limit what?
NFT.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, we're doing an NFT tonight, and
when in doubt, call it an NFT because no one knows what the fuck it is.
Exactly. Anyway. Just anything you don't know, it's an NFT. But it will be episode 74.5. We've done 0.5s before. You know what I love about the 0.5s? I feel like the 0.5s, we always rip the talking.
Oh, yeah.
Because when we're gearing up for that big episode, we're trying to get like a skit going, something real funny. But when we do them 0.5s, it's just straight rapid fire.
Dude, we haven't done one in a while.
Good talking.
The last 0.5 might have been the stonks.
Yeah, way back.
Yeah, that was a while ago. It's been a minute.
Back. So this will be 74.5. And maybe we'll have 74.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9 until we find our perfect guest and perfect scenario for episode 75. We actually do have to do that. Well, we don't have to do it, but it would make sense because like the way that we have the episodes on Apple and Spotify, if we did 0.5s, we could get the number to be correct. Like, because right now it says we only have a certain amount of episodes, but we're on 74.
We rebranded a long time ago.
Exactly. So that could help us. But what I wanted to say after going through all that is like, dude, sometimes, man, like this podcast is not really social media. It really is just me sitting here and you sitting here and us talking to each other, but we record it and put it out.
That's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what it is. But we use social media to promote it and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just want to talk about like how good I feel when I don't go on any of that stuff, when I don't interact with electronics at all. It's just absolutely nuts how good I feel.
It's way
like,
better.
I would never want to stop doing the podcast. I would never want to stop creating content. But when you just live life for a week without doing any of that, without making videos to promote your stuff, without cutting up clips, without like, you know how much I have to watch our own talking?
Oh, yeah.
Like when you have to screen record and listen to yourself talk for weeks. We've done like 30-some episodes in a row. It gets so like, ugh.
You know how many times I heard the phrase sunning your balls?
Yeah, to cut those clips up.
Yeah.
And then for me and you, it's not even funny.
Nah.
So then you get the mentality of like, well, no one else thinks it's funny. But they probably do because they didn't hear it 700 times trying to cut up the perfect clip.
Exactly.
It's so weird.
It definitely does get tough, like, hearing back the same clip of yourself. It's not even somebody else. Like, you're... Like, I remember saying it. Like, I remember sitting there. I remember filming it. Now I'm cutting it up. Now I'm watching it. Now I'm continuously listening to it.
One way back, my girl used to get so mad whenever she would hear, "Is Parasite Chinese?" That was one of our clips, and that was the first sentence of it. And I had to hear that phrase of you saying, "Is Parasite Chinese?" over 100 times.
Is Parasite Chinese?
Is Parasite Chinese?
Is Parasite Chinese?
You want to give him no limit bars on that to ride out?
Let's see what we got cooking.
Is Parasite Chinese? Here, find these.
Get on your knees. Beg for these.
High knees, high knees.
Emotion.
High knees.
High knees, high knees. That's going to be a thing.
High knees, high knees.
High knees. High knees.
High knees.
High knees.
To your knees. Dude, we just did like a quadruple entendre.
What?
Kendrick Lamar ain't got shit on us.
I heard he's retiring.
By the way, his new song, Poop.
Yo, me and my brother said the same thing.
It's fucking like, bro, I know you can rap. Thanks.
It's just like, I was like, it's okay. It's like, I don't know. It's been 5 years since he made an album. It's like, this is what you came with.
Weak ass video.
I didn't see the video.
The video's one shot. His face keeps turning into like OJ Kanye. And I love Kendrick, bro. That's not who you need to be. Kendrick, that's not. That's not who you need to be. You don't need to be playing in the oldest pop culture shit, bro. Like, just be you. You don't need to be playing like the fact that you as Kendrick Lamar fucking morphed Kanye's face onto your face in a video. Like, that's just weird. You guys are in the same, like, you're really not different than him. Like, why? I don't know. It was just weird to me. And I probably will like his album, but that song was not my thing.
Like, Damn. What I liked about Damn, it was just like, it was just a straight through solid rap album. Wasn't that abstract. You know, it was just, you know, all the beats were good, just went right through, flowed. Like, this song, I don't know. It was aight.
Yeah. Aight.
It was aight. It was aight.
Anything you want to tell the nation?
Just that I love them.
Clap out this 74.5?
Nah, I would love to clap out the nation. I love you.
How much they mean to me.
What they mean to me, what the difference mean to my family.
Fire Hoodie. What's his name?
D. Kirk. Shout out D. Kirk again.
D. Kirk. Shout out D.
guy.
Kirk. Any Bull's looking real good in the purple.
No Limit colors.
Also, that's No Limit colors, by the way.
You can get this in any color. I opted in for the purple because
Hey,
purple's
that's tough.
fresh. I felt like it fit the vibe.
New No Limit merch coming soon. We might have said it before, but it's guaranteed to come soon. Summer's coming. I'm thinking we put that fire logo on a tank. Get the Buff Boys wearing it.
Take a tank?
Yeah, a little tank piece. Well, we could get a couple different ones. If we go the route of getting the shirts ourselves, we'll get a couple different ones. So be on the lookout for that new No Limit merch coming. Drop that bread. As you know, $25. The extra $5 goes towards helping No Limit jerk off. And that's it. It's episode 74.5. We'll see you next week. Possibly for 75, possibly for 74.6. Who knows? No limit. Peace.
Love you. Maybe episode 100.